The corporate athlete. So this is a term that we used in your introduction. And I really love that term. Could you explain a bit of what that means to you and how it applies to well-being?
Yeah, it's not my term, Morgan. I wish it was, but I have to give credit where credit is due. And in 2001, in a Harvard Business Review, Jim Lur and Tony Schwartz wrote an article called "The Making of the Corporate Athlete." Mm-hmm. What they so astutely recognized when they started looking at business owners and business leaders was that they are very linear individuals. What I mean by linear, and what they meant by linear, was that these business owners and leaders were very good at energy exertion, but they were atrocious at energy recovery. So they're so unidimensional. And of course, if it's all about exertion with no time to recovery, that's why you burn out. If you think about the best of the best in the athletic world, they do something called interval training. They stress their bodies dramatically when they're actually training and applying their discipline, but then they take these intervals, and during those intervals, they have unbelievable dedication towards great nutrition and sleep hygiene, because they know it's during these intervals where they actually get stronger, and that allows them to come back and perform at a high level and get back on the podium. What we really need our business owners and business leaders and executives to be doing is to start doing executive intervals. Now, that's where being a corporate athlete ties into the wellness and allows us to perform at our highest level on a sustained basis.
And what would those intervals look like?
Well, really, the intervals, you can have micro intervals throughout the day, and you can have much larger intervals. An interval during the day may look like doing a 50-minute hour. So I stay on task, monotask, not multitask. I monotask for 50 minutes, and then I take a 10-minute break. And there I might do a little bit of exercise at my desk. I might do a little bit of mindfulness. I just recharge. Because I've had 50 minutes of exertion, I'm going to take 10 minutes of recovery. So I can have micro intervals throughout the day. But we need bigger intervals than that ultimately, and that's where vacations come in and weekends come in. Now, when I talk about a weekend or a vacation is just I don't go and work from some other place. Too many business owners and business leaders can't get away. They're working all the time. And so when they're on vacation, I often hear families complain that they're saying, you're always on your phone, you're always on your computer. You're not getting true recovery. You're just working from a different location. And so you really are not giving your mind and your body the break that it needs to come back and perform at a high level on a sustained basis. So when we talk about intervals, these are true intervals where we step back from the business and we actually recover.
So actually having dinner without checking your email, going to the beach without your computer.
That kind of stuff. The other challenge that we have is because we as business owners and business leaders work so hard is we really want to treat ourselves. We believe that we should be treating ourselves when we're on vacation. We may drink more. We may eat more food that maybe isn't that healthy. We may stay up later. So interestingly, we have maybe now pulled ourselves away from the business, but we've changed our behaviors in a manner that is not that healthy. So once again, we're not really recovering to the degree that we could or should, and that we really need to be in order to come back and be that highly productive, energized leader.
That was a thing we talked about on our previous burnout episode, was keeping your schedule, because the weekend hits or your vacation hits, and just like you said, everything goes out the window. You start staying up late, you're sleeping in, and then you go back to work and you're just tired. Yeah,
it's the old thing that I go 200 miles an hour with my hair on fire all week long, and then harder on the weekends because dang it, I deserve it. I work so hard.
Yeah.
Right? So when does your body get a break? In the corporate world, when there's lots of opportunity, there's pressure to capitalize on that opportunity. When the opportunity starts to soften, now there's stress. So when does the business owner and business leader ever get out from underneath that pressure and stress? Yeah. And when do they recover? You have to be very, very conscious and very intentional about creating recovery intervals.
So it just needs to be there from the outset. Is that what you would say?
Yeah. One of the challenges that people say, during that recovery time, I'm not being productive. I would say you're being highly productive. And it's called slowing down to speed up. We have to reframe our thoughts around recovery time. As a generation right now, we're not very good at relaxing. It's a real problem. And I do a lot of talks on sleep. One of the talks is sleep is the ultimate high-performance drug, and maybe we'll do a podcast on that. And when I talk to a lot of business owners, they are massively sleep deprived. and it's going to have some pretty serious health consequences. It definitely has performance consequences.